Everyone's here.
Everyone's here.
Oh my gosh, you guys are just sitting and waiting. I love it.
You know what I feel like? I feel like a rock star, and that it's our concert and everybody's waiting in line in their camp chairs and lined up around the corner for us to get here.
Take a big long line to get in.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. We are back and ready to rock and roll.
Real quick, Uncle Al wants to know what principle number 6 is. So hang tight, Uncle Al. We'll fill you in.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to Chiropractic is Sexy. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin with...
And I'm Dr. Erica Peabody here. And we're always happy to be doing our Thursday thing. No matter what else is going on, we're doing Thursday.
We're doing it. We're doing Thursdays. And if you are here, please hit the thumbs up button. Please share this across your social channels as well as on the community pages as we do our best to try to get the message of chiropractic health and wellness out to the world and get people educated to step up to doing something better for their lives and their health. So thank you all for being here. And we are working on the 33 principles of chiropractic. So I think this deserves a reset as far as what these principles are, because we are on principle number 6. And for anyone like Uncle Al who may or may not have heard what the principles are, I think that we'll go ahead and give you guys an explanation again. So do you want to take that, Erica? How are you feeling?
Sure.
Okay.
You want to talk about what they are just in general?
Yeah.
Okay, so chiropractic is based on these 33 principles, which are basically the principles for life and living, truly, as we're going through them. The original 33 principles was published in 1927, and they are basically the foundation that builds our entire profession. So let's see. I have contemporary chiropractic philosophy, which is a rewrite and a regroup of all the 33 principles. But I will go through, if we want to go back to, you want me to read through what we've gone over so far?
Yeah, let's recap it. Yeah.
Okay, so, and I was also looking back, I'm seeing Machu Picchu, Peru, and Everest, and I'm realizing that you guys are asking about some of my treks. And so, yes, I will share some of that stuff. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I know there's a lot on my YouTube channel. So thank you guys for subscribing actually to both of us, although everybody's probably already subscribed to Dr. Paula. I do have some cool stuff on there, including an 18-minute documentary of Kilimanjaro 2017. So, okay. The list of 33 principles, numbered and named. Number 1 was the major premise. There's a universal intelligence in all matter continually gives to it all of its properties and actions, thus maintaining it in existence. Number 2, the chiropractic meaning of life is the expression of the intelligence through matter. That intelligence we started with in 1 is the chiropractic meaning of life. Number 3 is life is the union of intelligence and matter. Life is necessarily the union of intelligence and matter. We talked about that. The triune of life. Life is a triunity having 3 necessary united factors, namely intelligence, force, and matter. And then number 5, we went over last time, the perfection of the triune. So the intelligence, force, and matter is, in order to have 100% life, there must be 100% intelligence, 100% force, and 100% matter. And that leads us to principle number 6 today. Do you have anything to add to that so far?
I do. I want to just, because I don't know why neither of us thought about this last week when we talked about the triune, and that 100% matter means 100% matter. That means if you've had your tonsils taken out, if you lost your appendix, if you've had your gallbladder taken out, that means you are not 100% matter. That means intelligence was not moving its energy through your body the way it should have or could have in order to help you not have part of your matter removed.
Right.
Now, I won't necessarily say those are minor events, because personally I feel like any removal of anything from the body is, you're now just slightly less than in the form of matter. However, there are stories of people where doctors will take out 6 inches of the colon. I don't know how many stories I've heard that. And you guys, we're not, we are born perfect. And this is where we try bringing these principles to you, is really to impress upon you the perfection of the human body and its function and its intelligence.
Yeah.
And so, and unfortunately, our society has been indoctrinated to think that if something doesn't work, just take it out.
Yeah.
And we can't have that. You cannot be 100% without 100% matter or 100% function or 100% intelligence. You really need all 3 of those together. So I'm sorry if some of you out there have had some organs removed, but our goal is also to help you figure out now, if you're not 100% matter, how do we maximize that? So it doesn't mean like you're a lost cause, but you can always, there's always a way to improve where you're at. So keep that in mind as we go forward. If anybody says you need something removed, other than a hangnail, I'd be like, I think I'm good. I think I'll,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really, okay. So through the years, and we see this all the time, is, they'll say, our patients will come in and they'll say something like this: I had my gallbladder removed because it was only working at 13%. What is that? Like, I'm sorry. How did you get that grade? We really, it's a good way for that surgeon to say, let's take this out. There are gallbladder attacks. There are those kinds of things going on, but that has so much to do with what we're doing with our bodies. We're not, Dr. Paula says, sorry if you've had organs removed. And the one great thing about what we do is we don't do that removal. Like, we just help you work the best you can. So we don't have to say we're sorry. We are talking to you who have not had any organs removed, had organs removed, not had any surgeries, had surgeries, not had any steroids ever, had steroids. Like, we're talking to all of you. And what we really want you to know is that regardless of what's gone on, one of the greatest parts about being a chiropractor is that we, like these 33 principles, Dr. Paula says this all the time, they've never been taken off the market. They've never had to be, removed. Like, we've never had to recall them. They've never killed people. And so, fortunate for us, we get to work in that kind of healthcare. We get to work in the kind of healthcare where we can really sleep well at night. And yeah, it's for somebody to say your organ is working at such and such percent, they would literally have to go inside the organ, go all the way in the body, and give it a test. Or I don't know, how would you rate it? Like, fail? I don't know. I don't totally follow it. So,
well, and I think that things like gallbladders, reproductive organs, appendices, colons, I think they have become throwaway organs in a sense that it's becoming normalized to just remove them, and that you're fine without any regard to why did that go bad to begin with? What's actually happening here? So that, therein lies the problem. And unfortunately, a lot of people have had those organs removed because there's been a blockage, a severe attack, a rupture. And y'all know that there was no warning. It just ruptured. So what was happening from the time that it was at 100% function to the time it went to 0% function and ruptured? There was sickness happening all along. And this is where paying attention to the small things, becoming far more aware and in tune and intuitive to your body, is going to help benefit you. Because, as Dr. Erica said, we are practicing health care. We are not practicing sick care.
Right.
So think about that. The next time you go anywhere and you say, well, why won't my insurance cover it? Is because your insurance, you are paying for sick care. When you go to most chiropractors, or you go to get acupuncture, or, most holistic practices don't accept insurance. Even most functional medicine medical doctors don't accept insurance anymore because it's handcuffing us to sick care. And if we really want to take care of you to the best of our ability, we have to get in the habit ourselves of educating you about investing into health care and what that really means.
Yeah. Kathleen, thank you for the question with respect to cancer. If there's a possibility of removing, say, an example, portion of a lung as to try to save the lung and stop the cancer from spreading. Yes.
We didn't see
absolutely.
that up here.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And we're just always talking about, like, once you do that, then you're working with not 100% matter, but you're also maybe avoiding a further spread. And here's the thing I want you guys to know about cancer. We don't catch it. We don't walk around and catch cancer like we catch a cold, right? So we grow it. And we grow it for a lot of different reasons. And so much of it has to do with environmental toxins, but also, looking back to how we were raised, what we were raised around. I mean, I grew up on an apple orchard, and guess what happened? So I was a kid. I was born in this house, and that was right in the center of the apple orchard. And so my uncle would call, and he would say, "Hey, we're coming up. We're going to be spraying around the house." So they would spray. Who the heck knows what it was?
Oh, and apples are, the things
Yep.
they spray around
Yep.
apples.
And those apple trees came right up to our house. So then guess what? So he would say, "Go in the house, close the windows." Okay. That's exactly what we did. "You'll have to stay in the house for 30 minutes. Okay. We'll absolutely do that. Guess what we did after that? Ran around outside barefoot.
Right.
That's a serious environmental toxin.
Yeah.
Serious. And, we all know that, especially Dr. Paula's following, like, you guys are all into, like, a lot of you are into gardening and all that kind of stuff. So guess what? I know that I have, and maybe it's part of where my respiratory system is a little bit compromised because I grew in that, like, my body grew in that. So it's not to say that I have cancer, knock on wood. It's not to say that I won't have cancer, knock on wood. Who knows, right? But what we want to do is always show up here every week and just help you to maximize whatever it is that's gone on. We really do. We want to make sure that we're talking to you and helping you to make a better decision about your health, just in general, across the board.
And
it's
shift
like,
the narrative, really,
Yeah.
right? So helping you look at things from a different lens, from a place where something that these normal messages, these messages have been normalized, is really how I should say that messages that just aren't true, or
Right.
that they become normalized because the medical society has no other way to deal with them, and they are inside of a box. And when you spend that kind of money on an education that says this is how you're going to be trained, this is
Right.
what you're going to learn, this is how you need to do it, there are no options. Sadly, it's difficult to see, it's just dogma because you can't see outside of that frame.
Right.
And so that's what's being taught. And, I've caught myself over the years, and I've had to stop and go, no, wait, why do I believe that to be true?
Right.
Because that's what I've always been told. Wait a minute. Right. So ask yourself, when you start to have those same messages over and over, ask yourself, why do you believe that to be true?
Right.
Where did you,
go ahead.
And it's not just from a reputable, let's say, medical doctor or establishment or the Mayo Clinic, because they're getting it wrong too, you guys. I'm just saying it out loud here. So yeah.
Right. So one of the things I realized, I didn't even have my microphone out here. Here we go. Look at me and with my fancy microphone. So if we listen to the messaging that's out there, right? So we are never supposed to have neck pain, back pain, headaches. We're never supposed to have a symptom of any sort. We're never supposed to have snot running out of our noses. We're never supposed to have a cough, right? And if we do, how fast can we get rid of it? Like, how freaking fast can we get rid of all this stuff? So the average common cold lasts 2 weeks. Well, now we just don't want to deal with the inconvenience about any of it, right? So the first couple of days will be intense, and then your body's trying to work to regroup itself and regroup and regroup. And so what's gone on is that our bodies need time, and that is principle number 6 is there is no process that does not require time. So yes, you wake up in the morning and feel terrible, feel like you got hit by a truck in the night. Guess what? That's messages for your body to say, slow down, get some more rest, drink some more water, just stop. And so what we do is we just throw stuff right on top of it, and then we don't give our body time. And every fever is an upgrade. Dr. Paula and I were talking about fever yesterday, actually, and it was like, we don't have to have, and it was a great awareness for me because I feel like my body doesn't fever. And she said to me, she was like, well, a 98.3 degree fever on a thermometer is fever for me. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm showing up at. Where normal thermometer in a normal day would be 97.9 is really where a shooting thermometer goes. And it was like, oh, right. So my body is being smart. It's doing what it needs to do. And yes, I'm under the weather again, you guys, goodness sakes. But it's because I just haven't given my body enough time. So, but everything takes time. They say the average low back pain, if you just give it 2 weeks, it's going to be helped a lot. It doesn't mean that the original cause is released, but if you give it 2 weeks, it's gonna be like 90% better. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but anyway, it's just interesting. Everything about everything inside of our body, and especially when it has to do with healing, takes time.
That's so well said. And I want to go back to the dogma of when you just said, so let's talk about that fever for a minute. So is it normal or is it average? If I say what's normal body temperature, what's everybody going to say? What are you guys going to say? Drop it in the comments. It's 98.6, right? That's average, which means some people run above that and some people run below that. So that's when I was telling Dr. Erica, I typically run around 97.6 is my normal body temperature. So I know when I start peaking up over 98, I'm like, that is a fever for me. So, so just because you're not 98.6, but you feel like you have a fever, maybe your normal body temperature, not the average. So understand the difference between that. Blood pressure is the same way. And of course, even with the immune system, that takes time, right? You get a sniffle, you get a cough, you get sinus issues, you get a fever. It might last a couple of days. That might last a couple of weeks. Poor Dr. Erica had a cough how long did your cough last?
45 days. 45 days. And I actually said in it, I said along the way, so it was Thanksgiving through the middle of January. And I just said, I coughed so hard and so that it felt like my lungs were going to come out. And I said to multiple people in my life, I'm like, if I felt this way and I did not know better, I would have gone in for a steroid a long time ago. But what I know is that my body needed time. So I don't know that I'll ever have a 45-day cough again. It might be that I just have now worked through it, but I wasn't going to go because I know these principles and I wear them and live them so deeply into my soul. It's like, I'm just going to let my body take care of this. I'm going to let my body take care. And
how many people after 3 days, they're like,
3 days,
this is BS.
3 days, half a day.
And then they call their doctor, can you call in a Z-Pack for me? And you guys have no idea the long-term detriment that one Z-Pack, one round of steroids can have on you.
Yeah.
And as somebody who practices functional medicine, I see this from people having done this 20, 30 years ago, that it can wipe you out so badly that it then creates years, it's lifelong to get to regroup on track. Yeah, it's autoimmune issues. It's just chronic illness. And that's a big problem. So just as things take time to heal, when you've been dealing with something for 20, 30 years, and again, autoimmune, and I love to bring up the subject of thyroid because people have normalized thyroid autoimmune disorder. Just because I'm not medicated, but just because you are medicated for a thyroid, you discount it as I'm fine because it's controlled through medication. You are not deficient in thyroid medication. There's probably many other causes for that. However, the healing effect, if you were like that for 20, 30 years, what makes you think that you're going to be better in 30 days?
Right.
And I will get a lot of that. And much like with chiropractic, we get that, you've had chronic back pain, you've had chronic neck pain, you've had chronic headaches. And then you guys come to us, not you guys, maybe, I don't know, but our audience or people listening, you go seeking help, and then 2 weeks goes by and, you're like, oh, it didn't work. What do you expect? That's my biggest question. And I will ask you, if you come into this office, I will ask you, given the length of time that you have been dealing with this, what is your expectation of time for this to heal? And usually most people are pretty reasonable when they answer the question. But even in the grand scheme of things, they might still say, well, it might take, 3 to 4 weeks. And I'm like, how about let's go like 3 to 6 months? Like, let's go there.
Right.
Because what do you always say, Erica? We're not bakers. I'm not here to sugarcoat.
Yeah. We're at a bakery. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And really, that's why we're having these conversations, because we have all been down the path of believing that we're not supposed to ever have symptoms, that we're supposed to live a pain-free existence, that all of these symptoms are bad. And what I can tell you is that it's all, we used to say, instead of I'm sick, that I'm expressing health. So if we have in our sinus cavity and down into our respiratory tract, if we're having some sort of invader, then guess what we really want? The expression of health is getting stuff up and out, having a snotty nose, having cough, getting stuff up out of the lungs. That's not being sick. That's expressing health. And so we changed it a lot in chiropractic college too. We're just expressing health, which means that, so let's talk this will be really, really easy to follow. So if you had food poisoning, right? And your body started to expel things out both directions, like out the mouth and out the other way. Do you think food poisoning, so do you think it'd be a good idea to stop the vomiting? Do you think it's a good idea to take an antiemetic, like that stops you from throwing up? Do you think that
anti-diarrheal?
An anti-diarrheal is good in this particular situation? Like, what, keep the poison in longer? So that idea of having these symptoms is actually expressing health. And so I went to Ecuador with a boyfriend way back in 2010. His body, so we both had burgers on the way home. It had whatever it was from the keto airport, whatever it was. His body was starting to express symptoms by the end of that flight. My body waited a day to express symptoms. I would say in that situation, he was actually, and I can't even say he was healthier or not, but his ability for his body to get that out of there faster is actually a sign of even a stronger immune system than what I had. And so, 10 days later, and holy mackerel, I won't even go into that story, but let the body do what it's going to do. And then if your body says get some rest or it needs more sleep, it does. If your body says I need a break, it does. If we can give it that instead of taking something on top of it and give it the time, we'll be stronger for it. Every single time. That's how our body is designed. It's a freaking miracle.
Allow it to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, we've been conditioned to think there is a pill, a potion, some kind of, liquid or something. If you have a symptom, you can walk into the store and you can find something to be the anti of that symptom, instead of just allowing your body the opportunity to rest and heal. Whenever we've been sick in my house, all of the supplements, the tinctures, the homeopathic remedies, the essential oils, the elderberries, anything that is there to support immune health comes out of the cabinet. That's my medicine cabinet. And it goes onto the coffee table
Right.
wherever the sick human, whether it's my daughter or myself, where we're going to be spending several
Right.
hours of several days. And it literally fills the coffee table. And it's like just an easier way to get, if I'm taking care of my daughter, just an easier way for me to get her the things that she needs on a regular basis. So I'm not having to run back and forth. But that's how we do it. We pull out, and then tea and broth and, things that are just designed to help support the body while it does what it does. We're not here to say you're never going to be sick. We want you to understand that should your body have some sort of what's perceived sickness, that's actually something healthy. It's taking you down so that you can rest, so that your body can fight off whatever the thing is. The goop that's all designed to come in and carry away all the garbage. But then we got to take Sudafed, and we have to take all these antihistamines and things that dry that up, and it prolongs.
It does.
So healing takes time, but we are conditioned to prolong it, thinking we are doing something better for ourselves. So how backwards is that? Yeah,
absolutely. I did. Okay. So thank you, P Squared, for asking this question. So the word necropsy I was just looking it up because I don't know that word, but it actually is, I'm sure this is not what you're asking. Necropsy has been used as a postmortem examination of animals. So I'm thinking you meant narcolepsy, but let me know.
Or necrosis, because I think she said.
I was trying to figure out where this came from.
It's up here. I think it was something.
Necrotic.
Maybe here.
Necrotic tissue, or
10 inches of the colon removed. So
gotcha. Okay.
Necrosis is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. Okay. So probably a necrosis of part of the bowel and had to get it removed. How do you avoid that? So it's such a great question. So an egg and sperm come together, right, and make this baby. And then the baby begins to form, and it forms and forms and forms. And there are certain parts of the process of growing. So initially, I'll just talk this really, really simply. Initially, the hand is formed like a mitten. And then we have what's called apoptosis, which kills the cells between and creates fingers. So initially it's like this. And then there's apoptosis at a certain point in pregnancy that starts to kill off those cells and creates fingers instead of a mitten. So it's really hard.
How perfect is that?
It's so divine. It's so incredible. So a lot of that happens. So apoptosis kills off the cells. It's called planned cell death. It's really hard to say how you would avoid this going on in 10 inches. Is it the colon that was removed is what I'm assuming? Did you catch that?
I think I had commented about having 10 inches of the colon.
Okay. So how to prevent that is usually has something to do.
Necrosis.
Okay. Thank you. It has something to do with something about the mom's body, number one, the health of the placenta, number two, things that she was putting in her body, number three, the chemistry and any kind of drugs that she was using, over-the-counter drugs even, or prescription drugs, something like that. So how to avoid it, it's so hard to say, because there's a lot of supplementation that we need during the pregnancy too. So maybe there was a time when that particular part of the colon wasn't getting the right amount of oxygen for whatever reason. These days, and we won't even go here, but there's blood clots. So if there's a blood clot going, that's feeding that area. So it's really, really hard to say. And that is definitely a limitation upon this child's birth, right? To be a preemie, so just to be a preemie in general is a limitation. And how did that happen? Like, what was it? Mom's body? Was it baby? it's so hard to say. Was it the medical profession? Was it her healthcare providers? There's also a lot of different things going on during pregnancy now these days that weren't there before. Like now they're saying for every pregnant mom to take a baby aspirin every day. Like there's
Oh
so many
God, I
different.
haven't heard that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're saying that because of,
Oh,
I know, because of
don't prescribe fish
miscarriage.
oil.
Because miscarriage is so, I know. It's really hard to say, but thank you for asking that question. I don't really know the answer, and I hope that that baby is having a good, prosperous life. I really do. And hopefully, even when they're born, they come through the birth canal, like that's so much stress all the way down their spine. So I see a ton of infants and children in my office because of that. But I also see their moms. It could have been something that had to do with the cord position. It could have been placental calcification. Like it's really hard to say. So, but thank you for asking. I don't know that I actually answered that.
Well, I think it's a hard question to answer. It's not cut and dry because, like you said, it's so multifactorial. And Dr. Eric and we're both very, very passionate about preconception care. And what that means is helping women before they get pregnant to make sure that their nutritional tank, that their body is filled. I would venture to say that a lot of birth defects we will see, and I'll call that a birth defect because that wasn't, that was something that happened in utero. But a lot of women have things like PCOS, polycystic ovarian, endometriosis. So we see a lot of women who have reproductive conditions, chronic diseases, that means that their bodies aren't functioning properly. Then they're misguided. So take a baby aspirin, don't take fish oil. When you think about the nervous system, we're constantly talking about the nervous system, and that's your gut. Your gut is part of the nervous system. Yeah. Because you don't feel it moving. It is constantly doing something. It is all nerve tissue to be able to help your body do what it needs to do. So if you don't support the nervous system in the mom preconception with nutrients, with fish oil, healthy omegas, and then you go into pregnancy, now if mom is less than, baby then doesn't have, that baby needs your tank to be so full because it's going to suck it all out of you. Right. And then now baby, if you only have a half a tank and no one really told you how to fill that tank, now that baby doesn't get everything. So developmentally, we do see more birth defects when the mom is nutritionally deficient. Commonly, women, they find out they're pregnant, they get pregnant unexpectedly, and then it's, take a prenatal. So now that you're pregnant, take a prenatal. Instead of, to me, I think every woman starting in their 20s should be taking high quality supplementation so that they can prepare their body for pregnancy, even if they don't want, even if they say, I was that woman. I did not want children. I got pregnant unexpectedly. It happens. So you can't just say, well, just because I don't want children, I shouldn't prepare my body. Well, I was fortunate that I was preparing my body. So with this too, is that now it's helping the mom and the baby. Right. Because now if that mother goes and has another baby, that preemie with that condition, that is a sign that mom didn't have what she needed. So she needs to now go fill her tank, because then if she has subsequent children, now it's less likely for that to happen. So
right. And that is no matter if you're having a baby or not having a baby, which really kind of blankets our entire purpose and reason for being here, is that we can wait until we have serious issues, or we can get after it every single day and do the best we can to decrease the amount of crap we put in our bodies, take the very best care of getting movement and rest and relaxation and handling stress and so many other things, so that regardless of what happens, regardless, that our bodies are really fertile soil for health. And, we're not missing
Life.
things along the way. Yeah. Health, life.
Well,
Yeah.
and there are studies that have been shown that if you are nutritionally deficient, which most of us are,
Right.
80%, over 80% of Americans are nutritionally deficient. In fact, I think it was the Cleveland Clinic study that showed 3% of Americans are actually healthy and hit the healthy markers. So most of America is deficient. It takes, and this goes right along with principle number 6, it takes 6 to 9 months to bring the levels of nutritional sufficiency up to a place where you now are past the I'm just on the other side of disease state.
Right.
So to
Right.
get your body sufficient, it takes 6 to 9 months. How long does it take to grow a baby?
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous game that we have not educated our young people. And this, guys, you're not off the hook, right? Like, just because you provide the seed, your sperm needs to be really freaking healthy. So,
Right.
You also, young men, need to be taking the proper nutrients for their DNA to be healthy, so that when they impregnate a woman, then life can grow the way it needs to without any of those types of stories happening. So
Yeah. So true. I mean, and just for everything, right? For everything that we do, it takes time. And so for every process in the body, of course, we've been talking about babies so far, but for every process, it takes time. It takes time for, whatever treatments that you're headed in for, that takes time. It takes time to build the body up. Everything takes time. And that's what, our world has taught us, that it's immediate results. And if it's not immediate results, then there's something wrong with us. And that's so exactly opposite of the truth. It's so opposite. So yeah, sad standard American diet. Yep, you
Mhm.
got it.
And I want to address this real quick, that pesticides killing fertility. New York Post finally said, story on cherries and the new pesticides because of GMOs. There is Dr. Shanna, I think she's a doctor, Shanna Swan. She was on Joe Rogan, brilliant interview. And she talks about this, how all of the forever chemicals, and you guys can go back on my page. I've got multiple videos that I've done on forever chemicals, Teflon, PFAS, chemical spills. It was just another chemical spill somewhere. And they're like, oh, and they found PFAS, but they're telling everyone it's okay. No, PFAS they are killing us. And it's this constant exposure. And so what they've done is that the average man today, the sperm levels are 50% lower than they were 50 years ago. Like, it's frightening how sperm count has gone down because of the exposure to chemicals that we are having in our society today. They are parasites.
They are really.
They really are. They do. They drain. They take it all. They take it all.
So we really want to just bring up to your forefront, like, okay, so the next time your body is expressing symptoms, what if you gave it the nutrition that it needs? What if you gave it the support that it needs? What if you gave it the rest that it needs and just waited it out? Just wait it out. There will come a time, of course it's inconvenient, of course it's uncomfortable. Lots of those things are all really true. And what if you just gave it the time? Guess where you're going to be if you took a drug or you let your body have the time? We could all answer that without knowing a whole lot. If we took a drug or we gave it the time, what would make it better off in the long run? We all know. Just give it the time it needs. So
yeah, give the body time.
Yeah.
Did you type that? Or no, I did. It's now doubling up on us again.
I know. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Your words can be mine. I trust you.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. So definitely your cookware needs to change, decrease the exposure, work with what you can work with. And I've always said, control the controllables. you cannot control planes flying in the sky,
Right.
dumping chemicals. You can control the water you drink. Like I'm at my office and I have spring water, or actually I think it's RO water in the back. But at home, I don't have a whole house filter. I have filtered water through my refrigerator. There's still PFAS in there. I know I'm drinking that. So until I can put a whole house filter in, I know that's an exposure I'm going to get. So I mind myself with food, and, really, really hydrating, lots of nutrients, exercise. I do other things that help me to flush out to make sure I'm not exposed to that, because I'm keeping my body here, right? So if you're down here, it's going to take time to get you to that place where you can, then, maintain up here. So just start, right?
Yeah, Kathleen. So Kathleen says time isn't always on your side, and you're absolutely right. It's just how our world is.
I did this video a little while back, Joe, on Cormaquat in oats.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on not always on our side. Like, we have different things we're trying to get to, different events we're trying to get to, plane tickets that we purchased 6 months ago. Like, it's all of those things. And I can tell you that if you can eat well, move well, think well, drink your water, get your rest, and get adjusted on a regular basis, and you start to take care of all 6 of those pillars in our day to day, we're going to have a better opportunity for our body to take less time down and more time up doing the things that we love, which is the whole reason for us to be here. So, yeah.
And okay, so next week will be principle number 7.
Yes.
And poor Dr. Erica, I talked to her about 2 hours ago, and then I told her she couldn't say anything with an M because it came out like a B. And I hear it's coming back.
I know.
So we have to let her go rest.
I know.
But she's gonna give it. But she did the laser on your head and sinus.
Yeah, my brain and my sinuses. I just, you guys, so in all transparency, I have not had the rest in my life for the last 3 to 4 weeks that is required for my body. And in saying that, it has been a conscious choice of mine. It has been a conscious choice. I know the ramifications, and it Mac trucked me last night or Tuesday night. And I'm okay because this weekend is like, okay, I'm just going to get through the rest of the day. And then this weekend is all about rest and recovery, because the way that my office is run, the way that my patients are run, and then my personal life right now, it's too much. And I don't want to give up any of it. And so that's the consequences that I'm paying. And so, and I'm also like, what else is there that I can and should be doing to deal with the level of exposure? I mean, when I see as many patients as I see in a day, I used to, as I was younger, be able to just manage so much easier. But at the age of 12 and the age of 40, we heal 60 times slower. So we have to take that into consideration. And I just think I can turn and burn all the time. I'm a turn and burn girl. I really am. And I know, I know, takes one to know one, sister.
Right?
Yeah, turn and burn. And also, Dr. Paula is really, really well known for like, hey, let's go out early so we can get back and go to bed early. Like, she's really good at that.
I'm not the friend. I get really like, if I'm not quite sure about, like, if it's a new friend and like, let's drive together, I'm like, I'll meet you there.
I'll meet you there so I can escape.
I'm the whole like, I want to leave when I want to leave, girl, right?
Sure. So
okay, what is number
6?
What is number 6 again? There we go.
So 6 again is the principle of time, which is, you can just walk around your world saying principle number 6, everything takes time, which since chiropractic college on, all of us do that. So there is no process that does not require time. And thank you for your time, everybody out there. Yeah. Learn it.
Do you want to
preface
number 7 and then we'll hit it for
next week? See. Number 7, the amount of intelligence in matter. So the amount of intelligence for any given amount of matter is 100%. It's always proportional to its requirements. So this sounds like a real supply and demand.
Yeah.
Supply and demand conversation. So
nice. All right,
right.
you guys, we're going to go let Dr. Erica rest.
Yeah,
We appreciate you being here, as always, and supporting us on another episode of Chiropractic is Sexy. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the like button on your way out, and we'll see you guys here next Thursday.
See you guys. Love you. Talk to you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.